wanted to do a review on Steve Kulls' book 50 Large. He actually sent it to me as an ebook PDF. And yes, the book is about the 2008 Georgia Bigfoot Hoax. And yes, I'm going to talk about Rick Dyer. And yes, I've heard the argument about we should ignore Rick Dyer. We should ignore him. Yeah, well, how well has that worked out for us? how well has ignoring Rick Dyer worked? The man doesn't care if we pay attention to him or not. He doesn't care if we talk about him or not. I mean, he's still going to be around. He's still going to be out there. Anyhow, the book the book documents Steve and his inside view of the incidents between 2006 and 2008 when he worked undercover with Tom Biscardi. Steve found some very interesting facts, such as that Biscardi was in on the whole thing, which I know a lot of people are like, gee, you think? But no, he was in on the whole thing. He was part of the whole thing. He was the one who bought the freezer because Steve produced a receipt. And also, I mean, Dyer and Witten said yes, Biscardi was part of it. Was part of the whole thing. So, sorry, I thought I had to sneeze. So yeah, I mean, Dyer, Biscardi, and Witten were all in on it. And there were quite a few disillusioned parties, such as Tom's son TJ. Also, Java Bob seemed to be pretty, what you might call, disheartened and disillusioned. As far as I know, Java Bob is no longer part of the organization. I'm not sure about TJ. But the book documents the whole thing. There's papers and documents that show that this whole thing was set up by Biscardi as a money-making venture. He's not really in it for the research. I mean, I think we can pretty much figure that out. That he never was in this for the research. He was in this to make money. And it kind of documents the whole web of deceit that Biscardi and Witten and Dyer were part of. And I mean, Steve essentially lays it all out. That it was all a big plan, all a big hoax from the beginning. Which, by the way, Steve was never part of, and he was not part of the Searching for Bigfoot investigation group. Well, I should say investigation group. But I really did enjoy it. I mean, if you really want an inside track on what happened in this case, I know a lot of you are probably like, well, why did you read that book? A lot of you are going to be like, well, we should ignore Rick Dyer. Why are we not ignoring Rick Dyer? Why are certain people still talking about him? Well, number one, because he's still making news. Number two, because, for us to ignore him at the risk of having new people come into this field and not know anything about Dyer, that is really kind of... it's not something that we should just turn away from. We need to educate the newbies. And the only way to do that is to tell them about Rick Dyer. At the risk of perhaps alienating those who are like, well, we need to ignore Dyer. But again, I mean, we may ignore Dyer, but we should not allow anybody else to ignore him, I should say. So, anyway, I would give the book a 10 out of 10. It's really well written, well done. And I want to thank Steve for sending me the PDF. And I think you can get 50 large on Amazon. I believe you can also you can order it also through Steve himself. Just go to squashdetective.com and get in contact with him and order it from him. So yeah, get 50 large.